Blog Talk Radio. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard. Hi, this is Chatting with Nat, Nathalie Jean, it's Natalie Jean, and today we have the honor of having actor-singer-writer Mariél Morgan. Mariél Morgan is an award-winning singer-songwriter and actor who believes in the power of relating personal truth and experiences through music and creative expression. Her love of music and acting began early, resulting in a lifelong love affair of telling stories and moving people with words. She is the ISSA 2019 Emerging Artist of the Year and a multiple 2021 Indie Music Channel Award winner for her 2020 EP, Thoughts of You. She is working on several new projects to be released this year and in the spring of 2023. Well, let me introduce you to Mariél Morgan.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm still alive and kicking.
That's good. That's a good thing. Absolutely. And I think we can all say that, right?
We can all say, well, some of us can. I mean, those that are alive are probably going to say it.
Exactly.
How have you been during this whole pandemic thing?
Oh, my goodness. It has definitely been interesting. It's been good, all things considered, but it's definitely been, you got to take it definitely a day at a time. It's one of those things that where I am regionally, it's definitely, there are definitely a lot of different opinions about what should be done, what shouldn't be done, and all those things. So you see a lot of different things throughout the day. I work with the public, and so for my day job, and so there's a lot of interaction there, and which is great. But at the same time, like I said, you see just a lot of different things. Kind of runs the gamut. So yeah, but it's good. It's doing okay, and it's definitely getting better. So I'm grateful for that.
Fantastic. Now, one of the things I like to ask this question of everybody. So during the pandemic, obviously we know there was a lot of tragedy. It's definitely a con. Some people lost their limbs. Some people have long-term COVID. Some people died, and a lot of people lost loved ones, friends, all kinds of things. But there were some pros during this time. During this time, there was walking with families, which is an odd thing, but it's not in this neighborhood. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't. I know a friend cut back on hours because he realized he wasn't spending enough time with his family. The other thing that happened was a lot of people quit their jobs. They were just like, I want to do something that makes me happy, because they realized that life was short and it's even shorter. The other thing that, with climate change, the animals were like, I hope these people never come back, because the pollution level came down severely.
Yeah, exactly.
You weren't in the streets. Some people were just like, I got to do my own thing. And then there's artists that decided to rebrand. Some decided not to do music. Some created albums and EPs, did singles during the time. Some of the people decided to become effective players with their music. So a lot of people had some self-introspection. So during this time, did you take time to do some self-introspection?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was definitely a lot of self-reflection and a lot of things like that. I think I misspoke, and that's my fault when I said in my bio, my EP that I released was actually released in the very, very beginning of 2021, in January of 2021, but I wrote it all through 2020, so I guess that's where that came from. But yeah, there's a song actually on my EP, Thoughts of You, called Hold Me While the World Burns. And I actually wrote that at work. It was actually just a couple of days before everything shut down. And it was, and I was just thinking about already, you know, just kind of like anticipating, you know, what's going to happen and how things are going to be affected and people. And I was thinking to myself, you know, the whole world feels like it's just going to hell in a handbasket. And, you know, what would you say to that person that you love, you know, the last time, you know, just hold me while the world burns. You know, everything else may be burning around us, but you and I at least are together, and we can, you know, rejoice in that. And, but yeah, I remember I wrote that. I was actually, you know, I was at work and I wrote the entire thing in one sitting. And that's what it actually ended up being viable. It didn't suck. And so I was actually able to, you know, use that. And I was just very, very grateful for that. And it that sentiment really carried me forward through a lot of different things and a lot of different experiences. But yeah, there was a lot of self-reflection, a lot of introspection that went on, most definitely. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because the world was pretty much cray-cray. We went through a pandemic. We went through a trial with George Floyd, with the elections, which are crazy, and now Ukraine. Alrighty, so I just don't know if it's ending, it's starting, it's reviving. It's just been just a crazy time. Now, what inspired you to get into the music industry?
Well, I mean, music has always been a part of my life. Music has always been with me. My mom said that when she was pregnant with me, that the only thing that would calm me down in the womb was music. I could be like going insane, and she would put music on and I would be still and I would stop whatever it was that I was doing, kicking, driving her nuts, whatever. And my mom used to sing in the church choir. And so when she was pregnant with me, she would sing, and I was always just still and happy and just enjoyed that. So my dad had an upright grand piano that he bought to the best of my knowledge, he bought like at a garage sale, an estate sale, something like that. My dad does not play the piano at all, but he bought it because he thought it looked cool. He thought it was, you know, it was a very ornately carved piano, antique, you know, the whole everything. And, this was before he and my mother were even married, and he bought it because he thought it was awesome. And then it sat in our house. And so when I was about, 3 years old or so, I started dinking around on the piano, just kind of picking out tunes from film and from movies and TV and things like that. And it just happened to be on key and on pitch and whatever else. And my mom saw that and she was like, wow, maybe this kid needs to be in, piano lessons or something like that. So they enrolled me in in piano lessons, and specifically in the Suzuki method. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but basically what that is that you, as a child, you start very, very young, you start very early, and you learn everything by ear. You do not learn to read music until maybe 3 or 4 years into your training. And so you learn everything by ear, and that's how you perform. That's how you do your recitals and things like that. And I remember I had a special stool. They're all about posture and the way you hold your hands and the way you hold your arms and the way that and I had a special stool that was made for me for my feet, because I couldn't reach the pedals, but my spine needed to be aligned properly for playing properly. And so I had that, and it would adjust when I got taller. I could adjust it. And that was always very, very interesting to me because I couldn't use the pedals. And when I realized what the pedals did, especially the sustainer pedal, to me, that was just magic, because I could make a sound continue for, forever, it felt like. And so I really loved the piano. I still love the piano. I still love playing. I'm not good at it anymore, but I do enjoy it. I'm terrible at performing live in front of people. That was always my biggest fear.
Oh, wow.
I would always I would play flawlessly on my recitals. I used to win a lot of awards and things like that as a kid, and to early, earlier elementary and stuff like that. But yeah, I hate playing in front of people because I'm just terrified that I'm going to mess up. And so I'm always grateful when somebody else decides they can do that instead of me. So
Right. Oh,
I'm like, sure, you do that.
Yeah, it's funny because when I first got into the music industry, I was just like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to be able to sing in front of people? Because I was a very, believe it or not, I was a very shy child. And
well,
was extremely shy.
A lot of performers are. We find our, I think it's funny. I'll tell people that I'm an introvert because I am. I like to I have to peg myself as an extroverted introvert. I have extroverted tendencies for sure, but at the heart of me, being at home or being with the people that I love, the most important to me. My idea of recharging my batteries is not to, necessarily go out and, throw a party or something like that. I mean, that's great too. And I enjoy all those things, but, if I can be at home, or be alone with my music, that's where I can really, recharge. And so for me, I mean, like you said, you may start out as shy or, whatever, but I think that's where a lot of us find our voice. We find our freedom through performance. And what's funny is that I was always terrified to play the piano in front of people, but I've never been afraid to sing in front of people or to act in front of people. Because the reason I'm always terrified to play in front of people is because I feel like I feel like I'm out of control. Like I have this instrument in front of me, and I'm afraid that my hands are going to do something that the instrument doesn't like, and therefore it's going to make a bad sound, or it's going to be wrong, or whatever. When I'm just acting, or when I'm just singing or something like that, that's my body, and I get to do what my body wants, and I feel like I'm in more control. So that's probably some deep-seated psychological issue that I have, but let's just go with it. Why not?
Well, the thing for me, how I got out of it is like I had to enjoy myself on stage, and I had to not care what people thought, but know that I'm giving a great performance or a good performance, and people are just having a good time. That way, that
absolutely.
I can tell you, at the end of November of 2020, I got COVID, and now I don't fear getting on stage, but the greatest fear though is like remembering the songs. Like I'll start singing and I can remember, but then I have this thing, oh my God, I remember, because I have like short-term memory blocks where I'm just like,
like, wait, what's next? Yeah,
exactly. It's just, people, like if I have a full set, I bring my sheet music with me. I've seen people do it. I don't care anymore. You're still going to get a great show.
No, who cares? It doesn't matter. Just because you bring notes, or just because you bring music or something like that, or just words in general, or something to help keep you on track, that doesn't mean that you're somehow less of a performer. I mean, there are people, I've worked with people who have, who tape their lines to the stage, where people can't see it, but they're walking around and they can see their lines, or they can see, whatever that they're trying to do. And I've worked with people like that. And, who cares? They're still getting a show.
That's right. Amen. Hallelujah. I love you, Mary. So how important is it for you to be authentic, as an actor, singer, writer? How important is it for you to be real, so to speak?
I think it's very, very important. Like for me personally, it's incredibly important. I think it's very hard not to get caught up in what's popular, especially as a popular, quote unquote, popular musician. It's like, it's very hard not to compare yourself to others and try to make yourself sound like someone else, or something like that. That's the temptation to do that is very strong. And it's like, it's funny because I'm working on a new project right now. I mean, and it's very much in the infancy of it. I've got it mapped out, and I know where I want it to go, and I have a plan for it and things like that. And I've already written several several pieces for it already. But at the same time, like when I started it, I was like, you have to let any preconceived notion that you have about what you think other people want to hear, you have to throw that away.
Oh my God, yes.
You have to throw that away. And like you have to speak your truth. You have to tell your truth. You have to tell your story, because guess what? Nobody else's, the story might be similar. The story might be quote unquote the same, but your experience of it is completely different. And somebody else is going to get something out of it that they might not get from another interpretation.
Right.
The way that I write is, you know, different from the way that you write or the way that, you know, anybody else. And so how I write, the way I put words together, the way I put melody together, the way I, you know, construct and create is specific to me. So while the concept or the topic might be very similar or might be very, you know, quote, you know, God forbid, cliche, it's still truth. And it's still going to resonate with somebody. So, yeah.
Amen. Amen. That's why, you know, I love doing social impact message songs. And I truly agree with you 100% that when you go out there to make music, you should totally be who you are. Whatever you want to sing about, whatever you want to write about. Obviously, we want to make money in this industry. We want to chart. We want to do all that beautiful stuff.
Oh, yeah, sure. That'd be nice.
But
sure, why not?
Why not? But I think but everybody has their goal. Now, my goal is to be an effective player. I want my music to make a difference in the world. It's not necessarily about me and stuff like that. It's not. Yes, I send myself awards and stuff like that. I do those more because I want to have somebody else listen to my music, because you never know listening to your music. It's a marketing tool for me. I've met people that have collaborated who's, you know, submitting my songs to contests or songwriting awards and stuff like that. That's what I just want to be an effective player. So, you know, I try to write about songs that most people, you know, deal with in daily life. You know, some of the things that people might not say to another person. I like to write those songs because that's what's real. And what I learned through the pandemic is that people were craving the real, because, you know, obviously there was a pandemic, there was fake news, and so people were trying to gravitate to hope. They needed hope. That's why I think a lot of people started watching TikTok videos. You know, TikTok can be silly, but you can learn a lot. Some people cried on TikTok, just telling you what they were going through, and then so a lot of people relate to that. You know, when I did a webinar on TikTok, and they said the most popular videos on TikTok are the ones that of people being extremely authentic. Authenticity is huge right now, and I think it will continue to be a big thing because people are just tired. It's not that, you know, I poo-poo on the mainstream artists, but people want people they can relate to. They want to be able to say, okay, Mariel's song someday, oh my God, I need more of her. She gets me. I feel like I could DM her and tell her anything, and she could talk to me for hours. People need that sense of comfort. They want to be comforted. They want to feel like you're their blanket, that, you know, you can laugh, cry, joy, whatever. That's what people want. So, you know, artists like you, I love because you're so authentic, and I love you as a person because you don't take any shit. And you say what's on you say what's on your mind. The most beautiful part, you're a beautiful person, but the most beautiful part of you is like you don't take any crap. And I love that about you.
I try. Well, I mean, and that's been a hard learned lesson, quite frankly, because, you know, honestly, I've taken a lot of shit from various things, from various people over the course of my life. And it's just part of those lessons that you learn as you get older. I mean, that's just part of it. But, you know, I think it's very interesting what you're talking about, the whole, I think, you know, the thing of being authentic, you know, authenticity. And the thing that popped into my brain, and it's funny because I was just talking to someone about this, the whole idea of like, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't use these, you know, occasionally for depending on what you do. I've definitely, you know, used airbrushing in photos and things like that. I mean, obviously for certain things, but like, you know, some of these people, and I'm not saying, you know, anything specific or anything like that, but, you know, you have some people who are like just airbrushed to hell And
yeah.
it's like, you know, and it's like, and then God forbid you meet them and you're like, oh God, that doesn't look like you at all, you know? And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person when somebody meets me and they say, you know, oh, wow, you don't look anything like that. Okay, Natalie, you are going to you're going to laugh so hard when I tell you this. Okay, so part of my job, part of my you know, my day job. So I work for a major retail department store. And so, but here locally, I have the opportunity. There is a local news show that goes it goes on the air every single day. But specifically, I go on Wednesdays, and I go onto that show and I promote our store and I talk about what is you know, what's trending, what's new, what new product do we have, you know, in every single department. It doesn't matter what it is, and it's, you know, they're little, you know, 2.5, 3 minute segments. And I love that part of my job because I get to, you know, it's very, you know, it's live. So it's fun, it's energetic, it's high energy, and you get to talk about fun new products and you get to just be, you know, and all those things. It's really fun. I love that part of my job. Well, I've been doing this now I'm going into my 5th year of being on air every week. And so just as a result of that, I get recognized mostly in the store. When people come into the store and they see me, they're like, oh, it's, you know, it's so-and-so, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Occasionally I've gotten recognized in, you know, I get recognized in the grocery store. I get recognized at Target. I get, you know, blah, blah, whatever. But let me tell you, the thing that's hilarious is that I have had more than one person, and this happened to me just last week. This woman comes up to me, and she just has, you know, she comes rushing up to me with this big smile on her face, and she's like, "Oh, you know, you're so and so," and I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, you know, I have to kind of laugh it off because I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's me," you know, that's you know, whatever. And she's like, and she looked at me and she said, "You are so much prettier in person."
Like,
I was like, oh, thank you. I think, is that a compliment? I don't know. But I mean, and I know she didn't mean it ill or anything like that. I mean, she was being very sincere. And that exact comment, and I had that happened to me when I was in Target one day. Some woman comes up to me and she's like, "Oh my God, you're so much prettier in person than you are on television." And I think I gave her some kind of look must have passed across my face because she was like, you're beautiful. Like, shut up, you're fine.
Yeah, well,
you can't go back. You can't go back. It's fine. But no, that's the thing. It's like I want to be authentic. I don't want to be the kind of person I don't want to misrepresent myself, whether it's in photos or whether it's in music or whether it's in what I say, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook. You know, social media is the window into a lot of people's souls, and you have to be careful. And so I'm very cautious about what I put, because not only do I not want to misrepresent myself, but I also don't want anybody knowing anything that they shouldn't know, if that makes sense.
Right.
You know,
no, I agree with you 100%. Our mutual friend, Suzanne, when we go out anywhere and we go to these parties, these networking things, and she takes pictures, she always says, no, Natalie, you can't use that. I got to fix the photo. I said, no, Suzanne, you know me. I don't do anything to my photos. I don't lighten them. I don't do this. I don't do that. I said, Suzanne, I've got to be represented the way I even if I look like a raccoon, I want them to do that. Even when I do my IG live, sometimes I don't wear makeup. I only wear it when I have to go out and do whatever we do. And so some days I look dreadful. Well, I think I look dreadful. You know, I have bags.
No, girl, you're gorgeous. Don't even lie. Okay, so but
wait till you see me in Vegas. You know, I like to show people, you know, this is what I look like. Yeah, I'm getting on the IG live looking like this. If you know, some days you just don't feel like it, but you're ready to go to do an IG live or whatever on TV, or sometimes I'll slap some lipstick. I might do the lipstick thing. I mean, but, you know.
I mean, you have to show up, you know. Yeah. I mean, we're not saying that we're not taking care of ourselves. We're not saying that we're not, you know, doing the things that, you know, that make us feel good. You know, it's like, hey, dude, if it makes you feel good, if it makes you feel empowered, if it makes you feel confident in who you are as a woman, go for it. Do it. I don't care. But I think there's a fine line between that and then caving to pressure that people I should look this way because of this or XYZ or whatever.
No, I agree with you. Now, what would you say, and everybody doesn't like this question because I think we're past this question at this point in this life, but what would you say your genre is? People hate that question.
My genre? I mean, my genre as far as my latest, my EP or whatever is straight up pop. I mean, it just really is. I kind of think that, like, essentially I kind of bleed over into maybe some more of like folk slash country. I mean, not country in the sense of like, banjos or whatever. But the thing is, I'm from West Texas. And I'm born and raised West Texas girl. And now this is the funny part. I may have been born here. I may have been raised here. It doesn't mean I have to listen to country music, and it doesn't mean I have to like it because I don't necessarily. I really don't. That's just never been my thing. Now, my dad, he was a huge. Now, I love like old country, like George Jones or Tammy Wynette and Coal Miner's Daughter. I mean, just the whole everything. I love it. But, I don't consider, let's be real, pop country is not country, it's pop. It's just, they happen to be wearing cowboy hats. And, I'm like, you shouldn't be allowed to wear a cowboy hat unless you're like an actual cowboy. That's just my opinion. But, unless you work on a ranch, unless you actually, rope steer for a living, you shouldn't be allowed to wear a cowboy hat. And it'd be like, I mean, come on. I mean, seriously, it's like, it'd be like somebody walking around with a football helmet on just because, they wanted to act like they play football. So it's like, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, but I think that because I grew up here and because I live here, it's kind of in the water, if that makes sense. That sound, that very kind of country, slow, acoustic sound it permeates everything, especially, the sound of an acoustic guitar is just something that's just it's just there. And it's very comforting, and it's very, that's always what I gravitate towards when I'm writing is that sound. And so, I wouldn't necessarily call myself a country artist at all, but at the same time, that's where a lot of my stuff some of it stems from that, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's funny. Growing up, I always loved country music, and I was like, I'm going to be one of the first black country artists, and blah, blah, blah. And it's
I love it.
And later in life, I was just like, I need to get back to that. Because I do love country music. I do love folk. I love the singer-songwriter vibe. I'm actually coming out with nobody knows, a new single on the April 8th. And I love this too. It's an up-tempo country song. And it's called Blocked. I warned people I would do it blocking people. And I loved it so much. My mom played it over 50 times when I finished it. There's a part where in it she sings, "We release it, I'll let you know because it's funny." I'm gearing towards a folk singer song. I just like the storytelling. It's not that we don't tell stories in other genres. We do, but there's a different way of telling a story.
It's different.
Really different.
Yeah.
Very.
It is. Well, and the thing that I think if I'm going to gravitate towards, like, shall we say a country or whatever, or like folk or something like that, is that I love telling stories, and I love painting a picture with words. I love being able to write a sentence that immediately puts an image in your mind as to what's going on. It puts a feel in your hands. It puts a sound in your ears. It puts a taste in your mouth. And I love being able the ability to do that. And I think that country music has more of that freedom or that like people, they allow themselves to do that more than just like straight up pop or straight up, you know, whatever you want to call it. And just because of the where it comes from, and you know, just the history of just storytelling in general. So
I agree with you 100%. And on that note, we're going to play this song Someday. Tell our audience what that's about.
Well, Someday is kind of the epitome of a song that, you know, I guess the sentiment behind it is the whole idea of, you know, you have this relationship with someone that you don't want to see go, that you don't want to see end, but it can't happen. Maybe it can't happen immediately. So it's kind of like, you know, I think the line in the song goes, you know, it might not be right now, but someday. And so it's like holding on to that hope and holding on to that love and holding on to that ability to hope for the future and just hold on to that. And I think that so many people, I just think that that's highly relatable, not just, you know, in, you know, a specific situation, you know, to me or something like that. I think that that's just highly relatable to a lot of people because, you know, for various reasons. So yeah, that's kind of where it stems from.
I can relate to that. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's play it. So I had to mute myself because I absolutely love the song and I was singing along. You know, it's interesting. When I was doing everybody's, letting everybody know who's performing at the Sim Jam, and I shared your video. That the song was in my head for the entire night.
Well, I mean that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, yeah, I want it to stick with you, but at the same time,
it's a really great song. And,
Thank you.
I know you talked about at one point doing a remix, which I think would be awesome. I just love it, and I watched the video over again. And by sharing the video, it got more views. I think it's up to 700 some views now on Facebook.
Oh, really? I'm terrible about looking at things like that.
I love the song. I just love the song.
Thank you.
What is your writing process like? How do you create a song?
It's weird. A lot of times, sometimes they just kind of like, I remember there was a song that I wrote called Everything. That was on my first EP that I actually produced myself. I'm very proud of that because I did it all by myself. I recorded all of the songs in my closet in my apartment and just, did the whole thing. It was like not professional at all. But at the same time, I think I produced some pretty good work, all things considered. And there was and there were actually two songs on that EP that I just overheard someone say something, and that like triggered the whole thing. It like triggered the whole song. There was a song called Joyland on that first EP, and I was at work and I overheard a coworker say exactly these words. She said she was talking to a customer about something else, and she said, "Crazy happens. Life is just bizarre." And that was all it took. It was just those words. And the rest of the song came out of that. And it was just something that I overheard her say. And then there was another one that I was listening. It was a coworker of mine, and she was sharing with me something about, a friend, a breakup, an ex-boyfriend and things like that. And she said, "His bed is a revolving door." And I was like, whoa, that is powerful, man. And that's the opening line to the song, Everything. It says, "Your bed is a revolving door." And, so sometimes it's things like that. Other times I have to listen to music and pull out from, or sometimes it just takes a rhythm, if it's just a rhythm of just how I'm feeling and things like that. Sometimes the music and the words come together at the same time. Sometimes it's just the words. Sometimes it's rare for the music to come by itself. It's always words first with me.
Yeah,
but,
that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the music doesn't.
No, it's like I mean, I think for those of us who are singer-songwriters, for those of us who words are the king. The music. I wouldn't say that it's secondary because obviously it's the vehicle that tells the story. But at the same time, it is in some ways, again, I hate to use the word secondary because I don't mean it like degrading, but it is the second piece. It's like words come first. And so, yeah, but I think that also the words kind of influence the melody because, you can obviously tell from, the way that a sentence is put together or the cadence or the rhythm of just words. It informs the rhythm of the music. It informs the rhythm of the melody. So yeah, so it kind of comes and goes for me in various ways, but that's kind of how it happens for me, I guess.
Yeah, for me, it's just like, I don't like to be forced to write. It has to come to me. And I usually
exactly.
And I still use paper and I use the computer too, but I'll start with the chords.
I wish I could send you a screenshot. I wish I could send you a screenshot of my desk right now because it looks like a hamster lives there because there is paper everywhere. It looks like just a happy hamster home and there is just paper all over the place. I think that my coworkers think that that's the only thing, because we have these like papers that we use at work, and I'm constantly using them as my notepads. And I fold them up and put them in my purse and bring them home and, you know, and look at them later. And yeah, I mean, I wish that, I know it's a podcast, so, you know, obviously it's just audio, but I wish that people could, you know, see just this mess of paper. Cause I'm like you, I love writing stuff down. There's something so organic about writing something with a pen or a pencil or something like that. Just the feel of it on paper is so organic. Woo. And it feels so good to be able to put that down or scratch it out or whatever. Yes.
You're speaking my language. I mean,
it's therapeutic, man.
I like books. I like books. I like the page. I want to run my fingers through it. I want to feel one with the book.
You want to smell it.
Yeah, smell it. You want to become one with it. No, I agree 100%. I just can't. Ooh, Lord, I can't. Ooh, I like technology. Don't get me wrong. I'm a gadget freak.
Oh yeah, me too.
When it comes to certain things like this, no, I need my paper. All right, so now I'm going to play your song "Smile." Tell me what that's about.
So "Smile" is kind of stems from those first wonderful, lovely, you know, supercharged butterflies that you get that first time that you meet, not the first time that you meet someone, but maybe that first encounter that you have with someone that maybe you have been hoping for or dreaming about or whatever. And then you finally get it. And then it just stays with you. Like you can't, it won't let you go. It picks you up, it shakes you around, and it will not let you go. And that's kind of like the feeling that this is based on, if that makes sense.
Awesome sauce. Let's play it.
I can't stop thinking about your kiss, the way it made my heart skip a beat. Now all I feel is heat. Something about the touch of your hand, my heart is making demands. This wasn't part of the plan, and I wish that I could tell you, show you everything. I want to know you. Promise me you'll stay for a while. Take a chance, take my hand, just to feel your fingers wrapped in mine. You are always on my mind. You're in my veins, and nothing will ever be the same. I want to hear you say my name, whisper in the dark. You're on my list, and ever since that kiss, I always want to feel like this. It's been a while since someone made me smile. I dreamed about this moment for so long. Is it right or is it wrong? You were there and then you were gone. And now I'm stuck inside my head, replaying every word you ever said. Is it love or something else instead? And I wish that you would tell me, show me everything, really know me. Please let me stay for a while. You're in my veins, and nothing will ever be the same. I want to hear you say my name, whisper it to end. Give me an hour, give me a day. Please say you feel the same. You're in my veins, and nothing will ever be the same. I want to hear you say my name, whisper in the dark. You're on my list, and ever since that kiss, I always want to feel like this. It's been a while since someone made me. You know you make me. You always make me. You know you make
I love that. You know, I think you have EDM.
Say that again?
I think you have a career in EDM music.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I never would have thought that ever in my life. But, you know, I really do like it. You know, I really do. I mean, like, I think that, oh gosh, the first time I was ever exposed to like EDM or trance or like anything like that was actually a boyfriend that I had in college. And what was the name of the group? Was it ATB? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah,
ATB or something like that. And there was a song called Ecstasy, and that was like their big hit. And I remember that was like, you know, that's just like what we would jam out to. That was the first time I'd ever heard of anything like that or been exposed to anything like that. And I remember, you know, just thinking it was like the coolest thing I'd ever heard ever. So yeah, it's fun. It's definitely fun.
You definitely have a career in it. EDM is huge. You know, it's interesting the genre, because I look at, since I've gotten deeper into the music industry, I look at a lot of or listen to a lot of music, especially I focus on lyrics more than melody sometimes. And
yeah,
you know,
that's me all the way.
Yeah, when sync and licensing, EDM, hip hop, singer-songwriter type of songs are really popular for sync and licensing. Especially for EDM, a lot of commercials use EDM music.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is that, like, you know, you say that, and as far as, like, you know, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I honestly don't think I'm cool enough to have any kind of career as far as EDM is concerned. I'm like, maybe not. You know, people really knew who, you know, what I did alone at night, you know, at home. It's like, oh, wow, she's doing laundry again.
Yeah, that's okay. Because EDM artists do laundry. So I think
I don't know.
Really, yeah, you should really think about it. I think you're totally cool enough to do it.
Thank you.
It's really good. So what are 3 things you wish you had known before you got into the music industry?
Oh, yikes. Let's see. I wish, you know, I think that it's not so much like in like business type of things. Oh, I mean, yeah, there's some, you have to understand, I'm very technologically impaired. So,
okay.
I can figure stuff out, but it needs to be like intuitive, and someone needs to maybe hold my hand and show me how to do it, because there are some things I'm just not that good at it. I'm not naturally good at it. And so, I wish I had known more about just, you know, the platforms in general, just more knowledge of technology and things like that.
Right.
Because I think it would have made my life a whole lot easier. It's kind of like, you know, I mean, I wish you could have seen me the 2 minutes before the show started, when I was like fumbling around on my computer, desperately trying to send you an MP3. I'm like, what the fuck? Come on, you know? And it's just like, I'm like, what is your problem? Why won't you just send? Why can't I just highlight you and send it? And then I'm like, oh, Okay, I got it. Never mind. So yeah, I have issues when it comes to that. So yeah, I guess I wish I had known more of like the nuts and bolts, but at the same time, I guess I couldn't have really honestly known those things. So I guess that's kind of a moot point. I wish that I had known or maybe believed more that I can just be me, you know, and I don't have to, you know, necessarily. And I'm still learning that. That is still a battle. That is still a constant struggle every single day to be who I am. And not just to be who I am, but to accept who I am and say, for better or worse, this is the human that I am. Love me or leave me. This is me. And I can't do anything about that, except I am trying to do something about that every single day, if that makes sense.
Right.
So,
completely.
yeah. And if there was anything else, I mean, I think it's really that. I mean, it's mostly just that, you know, okay, on a superficial level, I wish I had known how many outfits it would take to go to a major event, because it always seems like there are more. I think I have it all figured out, and then it's like, oh no, you need something for this, and oh no, you need something for this, and I'm like, I only have so big of a closet. What do you want from me? So yeah.
I know. I mean, even for our trip to Vegas, I'm just like,
Yes.
I have an outfit for every damn thing, and it's just.
Dude, I have a flow chart going. Okay.
Oh my God.
I have a fucking flow chart going. I'm just like, oh my God. And like, you think I'm joking. I have like everything written down. I'm like, okay, so for this day on this time, I have this, I'm going to wear this and yada, yada. And, you know, it's just, I mean, I think way too hard about this kind of stuff.
No, I don't think so, because Nikki and I have been texting back and forth, like, what are you going to wear to this? And what do you have for this? And what are you going to, and we're going to have to change here. And then what are we going to, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm like, we haven't even gotten to Vegas and I'm already tired. I mean, we have.
Exactly. It's like, I'm already exhausted, and I'm already mad at all the men I'm going to see who wear the same pair of jeans the whole weekend or whatever. I'm like, you know what? I hate you. I hate you so much right now.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, this is the one time I get to dress up. So, I try to look like a girl.
Oh, whatever. You are gorgeous, and you always look good. Okay, I don't want to hear it. But I get it. It's that whole thing of like, you want to present your best self, because, like it or not, we work in a sexist industry. And if we were to show up the way that, we really, not the way we really are, because obviously we take care of ourselves. We like to look pretty. We like to take care of ourselves. But if we were to just, if we feel like we have to live up to that standard, I think,
No, I agree.
And so that's hard. That sucks. It really does. It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't have to be that hard.
Amen to that, sister. Now, what do you love most about being an artist?
Oh, what do I love the most? Oh, that's a fun question. I like that. I love being able, I think maybe because I am like the ultimate in oversharing. I'm that person that like, I have this like horrible fear. I tell people way more than they need to know about me. And that's in some ways I think that's good. In other ways I think that that's a failing, because I don't play my cards close enough to the chest. I'm always scared. And this is, probably again, a deep-seated psychological issue that I have. I never, ever want to be accused of lying. I never want to be I never want to be seen as someone who is dishonest. And so I always feel like if I'm not telling people the absolute truth, that somehow I'm lying to them. And so then I overshare. I tell too much. I reveal too much, because it's like, well, but if I don't say the absolute truth, I'm lying, And like I said, that's a psychological conundrum for another time. But for me, being an artist, it allows you to share yourself in a safe space. You call the shots in a sense. Yeah. You call the, you get to tell the story on your terms. And what I choose to tell people through my music or through my words or through my story or whatever, I was not, nobody held me at gunpoint to do that. Right. It was my choice. It was my choice to do it. And so I think that's the fun part of being a creative person. You get to share in your struggles. You get to share in your victories. You get to share in your humanity with other people. And I think so many people, like you were saying earlier, people crave that. People want that. And they, in the general plastic world that we live in, people need some real flesh.
Right. No, that's true. And lastly, what is something that you like to read, or a quote, an inspirational quote or a message or whatever that you use to push yourself throughout the day, the year, an hour, the minute, if you need to, when you need to?
So this is something that's kind of recent for me. I will say that this is something that has always kept with me, and actually I'm on a group on Facebook for it, because I actually learned. Are you familiar with the cartoon Calvin and Hobbes?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how I learned how to read. I was, like 4 years old and learning how to sound out, whatever it was that Calvin was talking about. And I really credit a lot of my, maybe my warped sense of humor with a lot of some of those comic strips and things like that. So that's that kind of sense of humor and that sense of, fun and sense of just general joy is something that I keep with me on a daily basis. But I picked up something the other day that I thought was important for me to get. It's a little book, and it says, "You are magic." And it's 40 mind-blowing quote cards to help you follow your gut, tap your intuition, and manifest your dreams, because you've got the universe on speed dial. And it's one of those things that you can pick a card, every day or whatever. And the card that I picked the other day is one that I haven't been able to put away because I think it's so profound. And this is actually from Jim Carrey, who I think is a brilliant artist, an absolute brilliant artist. Not only a comedian, but he's also a visual artist. He paints, and he's brilliant. But awesome. He says, quote, "So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it." I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. Please. End quote.
Amen.
And I haven't been able to put that one away. That's the one that I've been keeping in front of my face.
And he's 100% correct.
Absolutely. He's a smart man.
This story alone, he's just proof positive of that quote, that statement.
Yeah.
He's proof positive.
Absolutely.
Put it out there, you're going to manifest it. Amen to that. I agree. It's just it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Well, Mariel, thank you so much for being on Chatting with Nat. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
I had a blast. Got to listen to my favorite song Someday again, and it's still in my ear, which is a beautiful thing as well. And I can't wait to see you in Vegas.
I can't wait to see you. Oh my God, it's gonna be so great. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. So yes, and it's only we're less than 10 days away. So yes, next week.
And I can't wait to see you perform also at the Sim Jam.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I'm trying not to throw up, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, you and me both. I'm like, okay, Nellie, remember those lines. Remember? Okay. No,
yeah, exactly. Like I said, tape it to the stage. It's fine. You're good.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. It doesn't matter. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because when I perform like 30-minute sets or an hour sets, some people perform my music, some people don't. And if I miss something, I just make it up. We just do that.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares? They don't know. That was always the thing in theater. The thing I used to teach theater for like junior high kids and stuff like that. And the thing I always used to tell my kids is, if you mess up and you make the face of, I just missed the line, or, I just, whatever. You make that face, you just let everybody know that you messed up. Whereas if you just keep going, they're not smart. The audience is not smart. They don't know your song. They don't know your lines. They don't know your show. They don't know you messed up. Just keep going, and no one is the wiser.
Amen. That's so true. Amen to that. Thank you so much. Now, everybody, you know, we just chatted with actor, singer, writer Mariél Morgan. You can find her on Instagram, Mariel_Morgan. Facebook is Mariél Morgan 85, and Twitter is Mariel_Morgan. She's wonderful. She's amazing. I love her to death. I can't wait to see her in Vegas. Follow her, listen to her. She's also on Spotify. Get her music, download it, buy it. Don't just stream it. I mean, if you can stream it all day long, but if you want to buy it, do that. Until next time on Chatting with Nat, thank you so much, Mariel. I'll see you soon.
I will see you soon, babe. Can't wait.
All right. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard.